Good morning, children. Welcome to the math class. Today we will start a new chapter from class 8. It is data handling. As you are all familiar with this word data handling, in junior classes also, in class 7 also you have done bar graph, double bar graph, pictograph in junior classes. In class 5 you have done 5 6 you have done pictograph. So now we will do data handling from class 8. Here the first word you have to come to know that the information collected in each cases, it is data. Then what is data? Data means the informations. As you know that the data, say from your term 1 exam, you are getting some marks in maths, in English, in science. So all the subjects, the marks are collected in form of data, and then the bar graph per each subject we will draw. So this raw informations is known as data. So after that, then we have to collect the data. Then the data we know how to represent this data graphically. The first form of graphical representation of data was pictograph. Pictograph. See, all of you are familiar with this. All of you are familiar with this pictograph. See here what is given here. Say one car is there and it is representing, one car is representing 100 cars. So say in a company, in a showroom, from a showroom in month of July, this much cars have been sold. So how much car you can see from here? See, it is 1 2, that means one car is representing 100, then 100 plus 100, and this one is half. So 100 plus 100 and half of 100 means 50. So 250 cars. In this way, in month of August, how many cars sold in from that showroom? 1 2 3, that means 300. So you know this, how to draw and how to read pictograph. Next is bar graph. You all have done bar graph in class 7. See here it is given that number of student in class 8 in the year 2003 to in this session 2003 to 2004. Then in the next session 2004 to 2005. These are different session. So these are different in each session. There is no relation. As you know that the number of student in class 8 in this session, there is no relation in the students, how much student will come in 2004 to 5. So these are all different sessions. So different bar graph has been shown for each session. And one thing you can see that the gap is there. And you know that in a bar graph, the equal gap you have to maintain always, so that this is for one session, next session, then it is next session. In this way you have to show the bar graph, and you have done this bar graph in class 7. In class 7 you have done another graph also, which is known as double bar graph. Do you remember? As in double bar graph, there is a comparison. Say in the session 2005 to 2006, one student's maths marks is given here. Say it is this is shown, these two colors are here. One is blank and one is black. This blank is representing 2005 to 2006 this session, and the next session 2006 to 2007 this black bar is representing this session. Now this is a comparison between the marks of these consecutive sessions. So by this they are bar graphs, so there is a gap. For each subject there is no relation between the subjects and their marks. So for the maths marks there is a comparison, for the social science marks there is another comparison with these marks. For science subject they have another comparison. So this kind of bar graphs, you know that it is known as double bar graph, where you need to compare between the improvement of the subjects in between two session or any this kind of sums, you need to do double bar graph. Now next come in organizing data. Organizing data means the data whatever you are collecting. Say you are randomly collecting the marks of maths marks from any sections, how much they are getting, you are just randomly writing the marks. Then after that, this is the randomly collected marks are known as raw data. After collecting these, you have to arrange them. See, you have to arrange them in order to their marks ascending order or subject wise, ascending order or descending order or subject wise, whatever is your choice, or whatever is the requirement, you will arrange them. Say in that case you are arranging in according to their subject. Say in arts subject, how many students are interested or how many students are interested in this subject. Say from your class 7 students are raising their hand, so this is 7. When you are collecting this data and this formation, you also know this format, this structure, this is known as tally marks. Say 7, we will express 7 in a rough form. This is 1 2 3 4 5, one bunch is known as 5 and then 2 extra. So one bunch, that is 5, representing 5, 1 2 3 4 and 1 cross, and then it is 2 7. In mathematics 5, so one bunch you will get. So this kind of representation is known as frequency distribution table, where you have to show the tally marks also. This is grouping data, grouping according to your requirement. Here the requirement was subject wise, so it is arranged in subject wise, grouping in subject wise. So in this form, this is known as frequency distribution table. Sorry, this is known as frequency distribution table and organizing data. Organizing data in, as per the requirement of the situation. So in this case, this kind of representation is known as frequency distribution table. Now come to the another part. It is grouping data. What is grouping data? When we are collecting the data randomly, these are known as raw data. Raw data are maybe some numbers and they are not in ascending or descending order. So first of all, you have to arrange them in group. See, when we are arrange the data in group, these are known as grouping data, such as say it is grouped. The data I have shown in previous page, we are arranging them 0 to 10, then 10 to 20, 20 to 30. You can see that 10 is here it is in the last part and here it is in the first part. This first and last, they have some name. It is now when you have make this kind of groups, you can see that this one is this one is known as lower limit. This is lower limit. And the last one is known as upper limit. This one is known as upper limit. So in lower limit and upper limit, say when we are taking 0 to 10, that and next line also 10 to 20. So 10 we can't count 2 times. So in the upper limit, we will in this group we will actually take 0 to 9 and 10 I will take here. That means in the second group, I will take 10 to 19, not 20, because 20 is again here. In this way, we will arrange the data in a grouping form. This is known as grouping data. And if you arrange the data in this form, then it will be organized in such a way. You can do tally marks there. You can make frequency distribution table. You can make bar graph. You can make histogram. Slowly, you come to know what is histogram. Okay. Now see this kind of graph, where we are taking this in class interval, means the grouping data in this way 0 to 10 and next range is 10 to 20. Then we are doing the graph, just as we have done bar graph, but as the range is very they are interconnected. So 0 to 10, see the marks of the students, say marks of the students is given here, 0 to 10. After the 10 to 20, so there is no gap to show that, as we have shown in bar graph, we are not getting this kind of gap because all are interconnected. 0 to 10, then next bar will be 10 to 20, then next bar will come from 20 to 30. So all are very interconnected. Can you see? So it is frequency 0 to 10, it is 2. So the marks are written here. 0 to 10 it is 2. Then 10 to 20 it is 10. So 10 to 20 it is 10. So it is the common wall will be there. There is no gap as we have given in the bar graph, because of they are not interconnected. All are showing different subjects. Sometimes they are showing different subjects. They are sometimes they are showing different companies. Sometimes they are showing marks of different students. So in this way, bar graphs are and the histograms are. There is a main difference between bar graph and histogram. Bar graphs are not interconnected, but the histograms are interconnected because of the class interval. Class intervals from 0 to 10, 10 to 20, according to our requirement, we have to give this kind of class interval. Now we will start question number 1 from exercise 5.1. For which of these would you use histogram to show the data? For which of these 4 situation is given here? You have to read the situations carefully, and then you have to find out for which situation you can use histogram and for which equation you are not able to use histogram. Okay, question number A. Number of letters from different areas in a postman's bag. Different areas. Is it possible to draw histogram for this? Say we are using, we are going to draw the graph here. In postman's bag, some letters are from say Shiliguri. Some say these are the letters from Shiliguri. Here you know the numbers are given here, the numbers bar. Now in this axis we are representing the numbers of the how many letters are there in this bag. Say from Shiliguri it is this much, and from Jalpaiguri there is no relation between the number of letters from Shiliguri and Jalpaiguri. Say that in Jalpaiguri the number of the bar graph is like this. So do you think that the number of letters of Shiliguri and or from Jalpaiguri in postman bags, is there any relation between these two uh, uh, districts? No. So there it is not possible to draw a bar histogram by using this information, as it is given for different areas in a postman's bags. Now come to the next one, the height of the competitors in an athletics meet. Try height of the competitors in athletics meet. Say the heights are, say in athletics meet, say the heights are say 150 centimeter. The raw data we are taking 150 centimeter, 160 centimeter, 155 centimeter, 165 centimeter, 170 centimeter. So when we are going to find that how many, you have to find the range. Say we are taking the range in this way, 150 to 160. Then 160 to grouping data, 160 to 170. In this way you can take this height, and as the height is given here, say in this y-axis we are given the height. So 150 to 160, how many athletics are there? Say this much. Then the next height will start from 160 to 170. So say it is slightly more. So can you see that we can represent this information, the competitors, height of the competitors in an athletics meet? Yes, you can use it as a in a histogram, but the previous one you are not able to use histogram. Come to the next one. Now question number C, the number of cassettes produced by 5 companies. Can we draw histogram or we have to draw bar graph? If I get this raw data from here, if I say 5 companies, say company come to this one, say it is company A, this is company B, this is company C, say suppose. So when we are taking this kind of companies, so company A, say we are taking this company as it is company A, and how many number of cassettes one company A is making or producing. Company B has no relation with company A. Company B say it is 100, 200, 300, 400. In this way they are making. So say number of company B is producing 500 and company A is producing 300. No relation, interrelation between them. So it cannot be represented as a histogram. So it is not possible. Now come to the next one. The number of passengers boarding trains from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. So let's try 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. It is possible to draw a histogram because say it is 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. So we are taking this graph as in this way, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. That means the time is say first time I am taking 7 a.m. 7 to 8, then 7 to 8, then 8 to 9, 7 to 8, then we are taking 8 to 9, then 9 to 10. In this way you can continue up 7 p.m. So from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. These are a.m. and you can continue to 7 p.m. But you can see that if I check that say it is 100, it is 200, it is 300, now we are explaining 400. So if I any station, they are recording the number of passenger boarding the train from that particular station. Say the 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. say 200 people have board the train. Say next 1 hour, say more people have boarded the bus. Maybe for the next 9 to 10 timing, they have only 100 people has boarded the bus. In this way, we can see that has boarded the train. See in this way, if we express this bar graph, express this data in a graph, we can draw a histogram. So in this situation, we can draw histogram. So I hope whatever we have explained today from the introductional part to question number 1, it will be easy for you. You have to go through this introductional part from your book again and try to understand question number 1. If you have any doubt, you can ask me in the class. Thank you, students.